This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Here in Japan, there are convenience stores on every corner, and these convenience stores are super convenient. The onigiri or rice balls alone have so many varieties that I couldn't resist designing characters from them. I don't think so, Kasey. This one is for me. So let's start off with the most classic onigiri. We have the tuna mayonnaise onigiri. So let me show you guys how to open one of these bad boys. It's pretty simple. It comes with directions: pull 1, pull 2, and pull 3. Let's see if I can't do this flawless on camera. So you pull the plastic all the way. Oh gosh. The sticker's trying to sabotage me. Okay. We've done the pull 1. Now we do the pull 2. Oh no. Okay. Okay. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. And then our pull 3. Now, if you're wondering why this is even a thing, basically, you do not want the seaweed to be touching the rice at all times because then the seaweed becomes mushy. You want that, you hear that? You want that crispy seaweed. So here we have our very classic triangle onigiri. Let's take a bite and see what it's all about. So right off the bat, you get a nice bite of tuna and mayonnaise mix in between the salty, crispy seaweed. It's a classic onigiri. You can't go wrong. All right, let's get to designing our first onigiri character. Right away, we are just going to be getting our worst character design out of the way, and it's just going to be uphill from here. We've got some cuties on board, so just prepare yourself. So going into our classic mayonnaise tuna onigiri, I wanted to focus on a fish, mayonnaise obviously, and the fact that the whole thing was wrapped in seaweed. So my first thought was maybe some sort of a chicken mermaid with a seaweed tail. I don't know what's happening. For whatever reason, I wanted to sketch a cat, so we also have a cat mermaid thing. And then I started to think about character designs that were more like people, so I have this bipedal white fish underwater creature that hides in the seaweed, so that is where it being wrapped in seaweed comes from. I'm not really sure how he felt about it, but I decided to push through anyways, and that is what we settled with, our weird underwater creature. But when I started to pencil it, I decided to go with a more sort of like a genie in a bottle situation where this creature is maybe made out of mayonnaise or just lives in a mayonnaise bottle. So it's coming out still wrapped around in seaweed, and instead of giving it mermaid, chicken, and cat friends, I just gave it some fish friends because tuna is the main flavor, and if it's underwater, I figure the weirdest part about this creature is going to be the fact that it is a weird mayonnaise genie creature. We don't need any chicken mermaids. So after I went ahead and inked it, I realized that I was trying to show it transforming, leaving the bottle and turning into the weird creature wrapped in seaweed. So maybe the seaweed will turn into clothes or just a hat. Maybe it will end up as like this weird seaweed-tailed mermaid creature. Either way, this is midway through the transformation, so who knows what it looks like. That said, I did have that wisp coming out of the mayonnaise tube. It's supposed to be its left leg, so it's not quite done transforming, but looking at it now, I kind of wish I just made it its tail, because right now it just kind of looks like a weird ghost tail, but then we've also got this weird leg coming out of nowhere, and it doesn't really look like it's mid-transformation as much as it looks like there's only one leg with a weird swirly leg. I think it turned out really cute and colorful, but it is my least favorite, so I'm glad we got that out of the way, and let's move on to some more favorable designs in this video. There it is, our mayonnaise creature thing? I don't know. Next up, we have the grilled rice ball, and I'll be honest, I actually got this one mainly because a Japanese YouTuber, Hikakin TV, rated this in his top fave onigiri ever. Not only because of that, but it is kind of plain in looks. It is literally just grilled rice in a triangle shape. It's brown, which is different than a normal onigiri, and it does have a lot of charred texture. So I'm really curious to see what we can create from something I think is a little bit more plain. But also, you have to warm this one up before you try it. So let's go see what it tastes like. I am back with our warmed up grilled onigiri. Let's taste it. Grilling the rice of an onigiri definitely gives it a nice flavor, especially because I think there is soy sauce on it. I do think it's really interesting from a design standpoint that there is white rice in the middle, so something to consider when designing with this guy. Let's get into it. I actually went back for a second bite. It's pretty good. So something I love to do with my art is really pushing the shapes and making silly and fun art and character designs. So when it came to these onigiri characters, I was really pushing the triangular shapes. Their heads are a little bit more triangular, their shoulders and bodies obviously. And overall, I just really wanted to focus on exaggerating shapes, and I think this one actually might be my favorite character design, especially for the concept. So obviously we have this onigiri that we're used to having just plain white rice, and this one was mixed with soy sauce, so it was a little bit brown. It's tanned, you might say. And as I said, on the inside of the rice ball, it was white. So I was thinking maybe someone got a sunburn. I did, of course, want to keep our options open, so I sketched another character that really focused on the triangular shapes. We have a little girl with a triangle dress. She has huge triangular buns and a cute little doggy with a poofy triangular face. I was at first very tempted to go with her design because I just really liked how focused it was on those triangle shapes, and she just seemed like almost like an evil little girl, and I really liked her. But I was just so much more sold on the sunburn aspect of our other character. Considering this onigiri is grilled, there are some charred marks on the rice itself. I just thought it would be really fun to focus on the fact that this rice ball has been changed by almost burning, aka a sunburn. So I really wanted to take that to our advantage and just play around with someone getting sunburned, and I really liked the first sketch, so I ended up going back with her and then including the dog from the little girl because I'm kind of focusing on having a main character for these drawings and then having like a little sidekick or just little additional characters that go along with our main character. So I couldn't resist our little poofy triangular dog. All of that being said, there is something I love about watercoloring tan lines. She's a little bit on the tan side already. Maybe she just likes to go outside and play sports. But then one day she forgot to put on suntan lotion, so you can see she's got some red, slightly burned skin where she was wearing shorts and a t-shirt, but this time she is putting on suntan lotion. And overall, I just really like her color scheme. She's definitely focused on the warm tones because she's crisp and hot. I wanted her hair to be the same as the dog's, so it's kind of like a character that's designed very similar to the pet she has. I just think they're a very cute duo, and I love the way this one turned out. What can I say? I love a challenge of taking something very simple for inspiration and turning it into a bigger idea. Next up is another onigiri that made it onto Hikakiken TV's list. We have the fried chicken with mayonnaise, and this is a bit of a hefty boy compared to the normal onigiri size. So let's get into this one. Now I will note the seaweed is already directly on the rice, so it looks like we're gonna have a bit of a soggy seaweed situation. Soggy seaweed situation, soggy seaweed situation, soggy seaweed situation. Wow, right away you are hit with the smell of seaweed. Maybe being wet really makes it smell a lot more. With that being said, let's just take a big old bite of this boy. Ooh! I took as big of a bite as I could, and I barely got into that chicken because this rice ball is so big. But instead of having that crisp seaweed on the outside, you do have it soggy because it was touching. Let's get designing a character based off of this giant onigiri. So because this rice ball was definitely a little bigger than your average onigiri, I did want to focus on it being bigger and rounder, and all I could think of was a character that was pregnant. Not only that, but I couldn't stop thinking about how this is chicken mixed in with mayonnaise, and mayonnaise is made with eggs, so it's like a chicken is being mixed in with its baby? I don't know. And because this is a chicken mayonnaise onigiri, I wanted to focus on maybe our character being a chicken in some way. So I started to design our character inspired by a chicken, but then she just kind of ended up turning into a part human, part chicken character. And then I thought, hey, let's sketch like a family. So I made a dad, and he's also part human, part chicken, but he's kind of got the reversed mermaid situation where he's got human legs and just a chicken body on top. So how this works, how did she get pregnant? You know what? We're not here to talk about the details. Let's just talk about the art. So obviously this one is just embracing really silly and fun art and character design. Not a lot here makes a whole lot of sense. I also threw in some baby chicks floating around them because I thought it would be fun to maybe suggest that this isn't her first pregnancy. Does she lay eggs? Does she give a live birth? I don't know what's happening. I'm not here to think about it too hard, but it's kind of funny to think sometimes she lays 7 eggs. Sometimes she gives birth to a human baby. Oh wait, no, it's not a human baby. It's a chicken with human legs. Overall, this one is also just really colorful. Even though I worked with a limited color palette, we just have reds, orange, yellow, and some skin tone in there. And I think it's just really fun and colorful and bright and silly. And even though I wanted to sort of reflect her character design with a chicken by giving her a red hairdo, it definitely gives me Ronald McDonald vibes, unfortunately. And then later on, I give her clothes stripes, so she's looking kind of clownish, but she's still very colorful and fun, and I can appreciate that. Ronald McDonald or not. I think my favorite part about this illustration is definitely the little chicks floating around. They're just so simple and so cute and so stupid, and I love them. But also, a chicken with human legs? Why not? Overall, a very, very simple character design, but still turned out really fun and silly, and I can appreciate that. Next up is a category of onigiri I've actually never tried, but they always look so pretty. This is the kelp and plums and broth and soy sauce onigiri, and you can just see, let's just open it up and look at it. Right away when opening this onigiri, you are hit with the flavor of plum and kelp, and just look at the texture and the colors happening. It is so cute. Let's try it. There is so much texture and flavor happening here. We have the sourness of the plum, the seaweed, the salty, the crunchy. There is, I actually really like this compared to a normal onigiri. It's so cute, and I honestly can't wait to see what we design off of this onigiri. Yep, this is another one where I went in for a second bite. So something I really appreciated with this onigiri style, and especially compared to the other ones we've done so far, is that it was just so much more colorful. There were so many textures and shapes and flavors happening, especially, like I said, when you compare it to a basic onigiri, which is just white rice with some sort of flavor inside and seaweed. This one was just so packed with personality, but that being said, I actually struggled a lot with the design of this character. After some fiddling around with maybe some sort of swamp creature, maybe something that was slimy and made from kelp, I ended up going with someone that was stranded on an island. Maybe their boat had crashed. Do I have Animal Crossing on the mind? Maybe, who knows? But basically we have a character who has ended up on an abandoned, deserted island, and they are now dressing themselves in kelp, just like the kelp in the onigiri. And then I also used used the plum as, well, she's putting them in her hair as hair decoration, but I also thought that the little strips of kelp in the onigiri itself looked kind of worm-like, so I thought I would use that as our additional little creatures with this character. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought it would be really interesting for this character to maybe have ended up on this island only to be controlled or made into dinner by these little worm guys. She probably thinks they're her friend, maybe they keep her company, they are in her hair, they're all around her, and maybe it's because she's lonely, or maybe she's just losing her mind. Is this real? Maybe it's not real, but either way, I like to think that they are definitely controlling her and that she's gonna die soon. So something I really wanted to focus with on this character was very different, strong colors. So we have the fun purpley red of the plum berries that I included, and then also, of course, we have our dooky green brown of the seaweed. And obviously, being on a deserted island, you can be naked if you want, but I'm not trying to deal with a bunch of naked comments at the moment, so forget it. Her hand's going over her boobs, so she's naked, but she's in a position where she doesn't look naked. Overall, I think this character is really cute. I really like the little wormy guys. And although this was a very inspiring onigiri, I feel like I kind of fell short, but she still turned out really cute. I gotta say, I just really like the colors on this one too. And our fifth and final onigiri is going to be my personal favorite. We have the pork egg and pork broth, soy sauce. This one is like an open-faced sandwich. We do just have like a bed of rice with a piece of seaweed wrapped around. Let's look at it in person. So we have our lovely browned rice from the soy sauce. We have that piece of seaweed wrapped around it, and of course, our half of a boiled egg. I love eggs, so let's take a bite. So in the center, right under the egg, we have mayonnaise and pork, and it is so savory and good. I love this onigiri. Not only does it have a lot of personality visually, but there is so much flavor. I love this one. I'm definitely gonna finish it. And then we're going to create a character. So maybe I was putting a little too much pressure on myself to create an amazing character for my favorite onigiri, but I was just feeling so uninspired and I just really wasn't sure what to do. That said, what I ended up sketching here, I ended up changing drastically, but here is a little peek into something that I did end up including. Because we have this mix of pork and mayonnaise and an egg, and it's wrapped around with a piece of seaweed, almost like a piece of tape, it just made me think of these two animals coming together in a way that was really silly and I guess experimental and sort of like a Frankenstein monster, but I wasn't thinking of a character to go along with that silly doodle, so I moved on to maybe a pig idol star with some backup singers that were chickens, but I wasn't really feeling it. I was really wanting to go with that chicken pig creature. So after thinking about it for a little bit, and when I went to penciling, I had thought it would be a little more fun to create this mad scientist character that had created the chicken and pig. Maybe I just wanted to draw that half chicken, half pig. But either way, our main character ended up really fun and I really like her, though I will say, after I penciled her, I was so focused on creating triangular characters throughout this whole video that when we came to our only round, circular shaped onigiri, I still made a triangular character. I made her hair a triangle, her sleeves are triangular, I was pushing those pointy boots, and once I started to color her, I realized how triangular she was compared to the food, and I should have made her rounder. But either way, I really like the way this drawing came out, so I guess I can't complain. When it comes to our actual character, there's not too much about her that was inspired by the food. Obviously, instead of having white rice with a pale character, the rice is of course brown, so I made a darker skinned character, and I gave her a black belt around her waist to represent the seaweed wrapped around the onigiri, but other than that, for her, there's not too much else that came from the egg or pork, just her sidekick, which you gotta love, a chicken and a pig just stapled together. It's a simple yet fun character. And that is it for all 5 characters inspired by Onigiri. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, but where am I going to post these drawings but on my own personal website hosted by Squarespace? Whether I just want to display my art in a portfolio or gallery, or if I want to sell my art online, I can do that with Squarespace. And trust me, you're going to need a website as an artist. Creating your own website is easy to do with automatic image scaling, easy importing, and of course 24/7 email support. Go to squarespace.com/KaseyGolden to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you once again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. And with that, stay golden. Bye!